Hi, I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
And this is Northwest Brew Talk. Welcome to Northwest Brew Talk, the #1 podcast on Washington beer, brought to you by Micro Homebrew, located in Kenmore. This is episode number 74. Each and every week, we promote the Washington brewing industry by talking to those people involved in drinking Washington beer. If you like Washington beer, learn about the people behind it here on our show. This week on the Micro Homebrew interview, we talk with Slippery Pig Brewery. We also have our brew news and local music from Crystal Beth. With over 300 breweries, we try to highlight as many as possible every episode. If you're new to the show, we suggest you check out our back catalog with some great interviews and lots of Washington beer.
If you've got any comments or questions, feel free to send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at nwbrewtalk and on Facebook at facebook.com/nwbrewtalk. If you like the show and want to support us, share our link and tell your friends on social media. It takes just a few to start a revolution. To start the show, let's open up our first pour this evening, Incline Cider Company. They are family owned and operated. We're drinking the Explorer Hopped Cider on the drier end of the scale while remaining very smooth and well balanced. The Explorer Hopped Cider is produced from their blend of Yakima apples. A hearty dose of hops is added in to create an extremely balanced, complex, and refreshing cider. No added sugar, no concentrates, nothing funky. 6.5% ABV and an untapped rating of 3.59.
Okay, very light colored here. Gonna have a taste. Wow, it's like biting into an apple.
Yeah, but it has that bitter.
Just slightly.
Yeah, it's not like a crazy hoppy.
Oh no.
I wasn't quite sure what to expect with it being a hopped cider, but it's good. It's definitely different.
Oh yeah, no, it's good. I like it. Yeah, we started trying. In fact, we got some news today about ciders, but. Yeah, trying a few of these. It's definitely different. It's like some of the beers that we've been trying lately. They're not all the regular beers. They're not all straight ahead, straightforward beers. And ciders are different too. Gives you something different to try, especially if someone is not a beer fan. A lot of breweries are carrying at least one cider.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting when you go around and see all the different places. But that's kind of how the beer community is. You know, they're all pretty friendly with each other and trying to promote the other businesses too. That's why a lot of them have rotating tap handles with the other breweries in them.
Yeah, but that's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. And now, onto our brew news.
Topping this week's news, this past Saturday, Seven Seas Brewing in Gig Harbor celebrated their 7th anniversary. They brewed a special golden ale for the occasion with 7 different hops that start with the letter C. Congrats on 7 and wishing many more. On July 14th, Ghostfish Brewing in Seattle will open their new full restaurant. Items will change weekly, but there will be some flagships, including street tacos, pork sliders, ceviche, fresh oysters, paninis, and ghost fish and chips. There are also plans to offer vegetarian and vegan options. Some big news we forgot to mention last week after our little vacation. Odin Brewing Company of Tacoma has acquired Hilliard's Beer of Seattle. Odin acquired all the equipment and intellectual properties. Although some equipment will be moved to Tacoma, the deal allows the Hilliard Brewery in Ballard to be sold as a turnkey brewery operation. Quote, "We're excited about the opportunity of adding the Hilliard's lineup to our expanding portfolio of products," unquote, said Dan Lee, owner of Odin Brewing Company. Hilliard founder Ryan Hilliard said the deal was too good to pass up and he is leaving the beer business. "We suspect, as they do, the brewery will sell pretty quickly."
The Northwest Cider Association, NWCA, announces details for its 6th annual Summer Cider Day on Saturday, August 6th from 12 to 5 at the Northwest Maritime Center in Port Townsend. With more than 60 ciders to try, music, and gourmet gluten-free fare from Siren's Pub, this family-friendly event showcases some of the top cideries from Washington and Oregon. Emily Ritchie, executive director of the Northwest Cider Association, said, quote, "This is one of the largest cider tasting events in Washington State and has helped establish the Northwest as a nationally recognized cider region. Tickets are $25 in advance or $30 at the door, include 8 tasting tickets and a tasting glass." PortlandMercury.com announced that Hopworks Urban Brewery is opening a location in Vancouver. This will be the company's 3rd location. Founder Christian Ettinger said the new 7-barrel brewhouse will probably see Hopworks brewers rotate between Portland and Vancouver and will likely brew Cuve-exclusive beers made with organic malts from Vancouver. The eco-friendly B Corp space is expected to be completed by Halloween.
According to Columbian.com, Doomsday Brewing in Washougal has opened its 2nd location in Vancouver called Doomsday Brewing Safe House. They plan to expand brewing operations at their original location, including a new building and 5,400 more square feet. The 6th annual Bremerton Summer Brew Fest will take place July 15th through 16th on the Bremerton Boardwalk. This event features 30-plus Washington breweries pouring more than 100 craft beers. To celebrate the summer, Washington brewers will be focusing on fruit-infused beers. Tickets are $20 in advance or $25 at the door and includes a commemorative tasting glass and 6 tokens. If you like indie beer and baseball, join the Seattle Mariners on Monday, August 1st for Brewery Night. The event takes place before the game, and pre-sale tickets get you a t-shirt and 2 drink tickets. The Mariners stock many indie beers from Washington, but on this night there will be 12 different breweries in attendance for the special event.
How many people like to head to the brewery with their pooch in tow? Well, a recent story in the newstribune.com said that has changed in Tacoma. After receiving complaints, the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department visited multiple locations, including the Copper Door, Pacific Brewing and Malty, North 47 Brewing Company, Edison City Ale House. Warnings were issued to some locations as pets aren't allowed where beer is served in reusable glassware. Sluggo Brewing, though, is able to host dogs because it serves its beer in disposable cups and doesn't serve food. They are not considered a food establishment and can get around the rules that way. Plastic cups might not be your favorite way to drink indie beer, but if you want to bring your pooch with you in Tacoma, that might be the only way. And that is the brew news this week.
Welcome back to Northwest Brew Talk. If you want to submit news to Northwest Brew Talk, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. If you've not yet subscribed to our podcast, why not do it now? It's free, available anywhere you listen to podcasts, including iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio.
On this week's Micro Homebrew interview, we're talking to Dave from Slippery Pig Brewery in Poulsbo. All right, we're talking with Dave from Slippery Pig. So how you doing?
Excellent, excellent. This is a great festival.
Yes, yeah, it definitely is. So why don't you give us a little background on Slippery Pig and how you started up?
So, homebrewed for probably 10 years, 12 years. Used to have to homebrew down by our barn by the pig pen, so kind of named the brewery after we used to raise a lot of pigs for food.
Okay.
And then years later, ended up going commercial. Started on a 1-barrel system. We're up to a 3-barrel system now. Moved to a downtown location. We do food, wine, spirits, entertainment.
Oh, nice.
The whole bit.
Nice. So, do you still, or did you used to grow some of the ingredients that you use?
Yes, we used to grow almost everything we could except for the grain, hops. Well, some of the hops. Today, we don't grow a lot. We grow the lemon verbena for the Hog's Breath Hefeweizen, or the Hog's Breath honey wheat. We grow some rhubarb, but not nearly in the quantities that we need. That's about it, really. We still have a stand of hops, but they kind of do what they want to do.
Yeah. So, when you were home brewing, what kind of beers did you like to brew?
For the most part, I like to play around with different things. My wife and I were 2 of the founding members of the Poulsbo Farmers Market.
Okay.
So she would do the market, and any leftover anything she had, I would get to brew with.
Okay.
So a lot of the brewing I did was depending on what was in season, different herbs, fruits, vegetables, different stuff like that.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so it sounds like you experiment with a lot of different things.
Yeah, second beer I ever homebrewed, started playing around.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't need to follow somebody else's recipe, I want to do my own thing.
Yeah. Nice. So, did you go into like whole grain right away?
No, I went extract for a long, long time at home. Yeah. For the time, it made it easier to kind of fool around with other stuff. So I would do partial mash.
Okay.
But used a lot of extract, and then transitioned away from that. And then, don't use any of it now.
Yeah. So what do you like brewing now for the brewery?
Well, it's always fun to do new stuff. We have to produce the beers that are popular. So that's a lot of fun too. I have a lot of those beers I really like to do. We do a coffee stout. I love brewing that one. It's just, I don't know why, it's just a lot of fun to brew. The rhubarb's a lot of fun our rhubarb IPA is a lot of fun to brew. It makes a pretty big mess, but it's kind of fun. It's worth it.
Yeah. So, do you do any distribution?
We are all self-distributed. So we're doing very small amounts of outside keg sales. We have enough business at our pub that most of the beer we produce stays there.
Right.
So it's very seldom we release a keg.
So what, down the road, you looking at doing a bigger system, more fermenters, anything like that?
We're looking at adding a lot of fermentation space. I like the 3-barrel that we're working on right now. We're just not maximizing it yet.
Yeah.
So we need to add some fermentation space. And then we'll see about distribution in the future. Right now the focus is definitely on the pub.
Okay. Yeah, so brew what you can sell at the pub and not really worry so much about outside.
Yeah, it's just a lot of the markets I would really like to hit are kind of distant. So we've been eyeballing like Olympia, Seattle, Tacoma. Not so much just around town, because everywhere that sells alcohol downtown is within walking distance of our pub.
Okay.
So we do sell some here and there, but it makes more sense to kind of go out to the more populated areas and hit down there.
Right. So if you do more distribution, would it be more keg-wise?
Yeah, quite a bit more. Yeah, I think we're definitely gearing up to do that before winter starts.
Oh yeah.
It'd be nice to have. Paulsbo is a little bit touristy, so summertime is an explosion. Wintertime, everything kind of backs off. So it'd be nice to have a secondary source to sell beer, so we don't have to slow down production.
Right. So with the 3-barrel, how many times a week are you brewing?
Right now we're averaging 2 to 3 times a week. So not a whole lot, but it'd be nice to get up to 5 days a week.
Right. So coming to a festival like this, when you're walking around, what are you looking at?
Well, I feel a little bit guilty about it at festivals like this. The brewing community is such a fantastic community. I spend most of my time looking for people I haven't seen since the last festival that we were at.
Yeah.
So lots of awesome people.
Yeah, it definitely is a great community. Now, do you like trying other beers to see what somebody else is doing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the whole. In my mind, that's the whole purpose of this, to go out and. We ran into one of our friends yesterday from Paulsbo, and he's like, "Sorry, man, we're just not getting beers from our hometown."
Yeah.
No, I'm not either.
Yeah.
And this is a great opportunity to just to check out, and people bring their best.
Yeah.
It's a great time to just sample beers that I can't get all over the place. A lot of Eastern Washington breweries here. I don't really know these guys. I'm not really familiar with them.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see what they've got.
Yeah, we're always impressed to see, and it's always great to have breweries that people don't see or don't distribute to Western Washington. So that's definitely a plus.
Yeah, I've made friends with a few guys at the 192 Brewery.
Okay.
And I can't remember what town they're out of, but I only get to see them at places like this. So it's kind of cool to hang out with those guys. Just ran into an old friend that left one of our hometown breweries, Valhall. He left there 2 years ago. Haven't seen him in 2 years, and then he pops up here. So really cool to see him.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so this is like old home weekend, right?
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, go and make fun of the new kids, you know.
So when you're looking to brew something new, what do you do? Do you try some other beers or similar styles, or do you just write a recipe?
I'd say 90% of the time we just write a recipe.
Yeah.
And then between myself and Dan, who brews with me, we'll start with what we think is a good idea, tweak it a little bit, look at the numbers on it, and then just run with it.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't turn out, we don't ever make it again.
Yeah. Have you had any of those?
Yes. Gotta have the failures to have the successes.
Yeah. So what have you done with those? Dump them, or have you tweaked them so it's something you could sell, or what?
They generally, depending on quality, we don't want to be serving anything that's just awful.
Yeah.
So about a year ago, we had an IPA that I did not like. We had a few people that were like, "That's really good," and I'm like, "No, it's not." So we ended up randling it over grapefruit.
Oh.
It was like, it smooth. It had a harsh flavor to it that I couldn't get my mind around. I couldn't get around it.
Yeah.
And just randling it over grapefruit kind of smoothed out that rough edge, and it actually turned out really good. We had a lot of people like, "When are you going to make that one again?" It's like, never, ever.
Yeah. You gotta try and work with what you have, so you don't have to dump it. But sounds like that worked out.
Yeah. I hate. Man, there's a lot of paperwork to be filled out if we have to dump something. So.
Yeah. Well, what does the future hold then?
We've got to kind of sit down and figure that out, because right now, we've just added, as of a year ago, we added food and wine.
Okay.
Recently, we added spirits, and that's been a whole new thing for us.
Yeah.
But our pub is kind of an entertainment spot. We bring in a lot of live music, live bands. We do a lot of fun stuff there. So as we transition into the spirits to accompany the entertainment, it's just ironing all that stuff out right now. And then I think we need to sit down probably in a couple months and say, all right, what's next?
Yeah.
We definitely need to add fermentation space. We definitely need to get to the point where I'm not tending bar ever at all, and I can focus on just brewing. Because right now I can only budget 3 days a week to brewing, and the rest of the week I kind of have to be on the floor dealing with other stuff. So it'd be nice to just get to the point where I can focus on brewing 7 days a week.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Awesome. So your place is kind of like what they used to be in the old days. It would be like the neighborhood hangout and entertainment, and it's the local brewery too.
Yep. We've got our house band that plays every Thursday, and those guys have basically become a family. Yeah. Essentially, they're part of the crew.
Nice.
Same thing. Every night of the week we have something going on. It's like, these are our people. We got to take care of our people. This is our town. We got to take care of our town. I'm 5th generation in Paulsbo. It's my responsibility to take care of that town now.
There you go. Awesome. Well, Dave from Slippery Pig, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it.
Thanks to Dave from Slippery Pig for joining us today.
If you're a homebrewer looking for a great shop to buy your homebrew ingredients and equipment, why don't you check out Micro Homebrew in Kenmore? Tony and his staff are always happy to help a new or experienced homebrewer find what they need. At Micro Homebrew, they're proud to carry over 100 hop varieties. Visit them today at 17511 68th Avenue Northeast in Kenmore, or on Facebook at Micro Homebrew. When you stop in, make sure you tell them that you heard about them on Northwest Brew Talk.
All right, we'll be right back after a local music break from Crystal Beth.
Woohoo! 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 Woohoo!
was Siberian Delirium from Crystal Beth. You can check her out at crystalbeth.bandcamp.com. If you want to have your music played on Northwest Brew Talk, contact us today.
Hi, I'm Mike Rizzo, author of Washington Beer, A Heady History of Evergreen State Brewing. The history of brewing in Washington dates back to when the area was just a territory. My new book, Washington Beer, tries to cover everything from the 19th century to modern days. American Craft Beer said, quote, author Michael F. Rizzo does the considerable legwork for us in Washington Beer, unquote. Through dozens of photos and detailed notes, the history slowly evolved. WA List said, quote, Michael Rizzo takes the name a Washington Beer game to a whole other level, unquote. From Prohibition to the modern craft beer movement, over 300 brewery histories are explored. One of craft beer's pioneers, Mari Kemper from Chuckanut Brewery, said, quote, he's done a noble job of trying to reconstruct the industry's history from oral stories and bits and pieces of written documentation. A great read for anyone interested in finding out how the beer industry developed in Washington State, unquote. From Arcadia Publishing, the book features a 16-page color insert and costs $21.99. You can pick up a copy at your local bookstore, online, in ebook format, or directly from me, autographed. Get your copy today. All right, upcoming events for Washington Beer include this Saturday. We're going to be at Harmon Brewing in Tacoma in conjunction with King's Books. Come on down for some history, a copy of the book, a beer, and stick around as I interview Jesse from Harmon for a future episode of Northwest Brew Talk. On Saturday, August 6th, we'll be in Spokane at Auntie's Books for a signing and history talk. And the following Saturday, August 14th, we're going to be at Vancouver's Lewitt Brewing doing a talk and signing with Vintage Books. This past weekend, we went out to Seattle and we visited a couple breweries. We visited Urban Family Brewing and we went to Maritime Pacific. At Urban Family Brewing, we met Andy, one of the new owners, and he let us sample several of their new beers and several of the other beers that they had on tap. It was a release day. They had a new bottle release, and they had, I believe it was the Creek that we tried that was on cask. And every one of the beers that we tried were awesome. We tried their award-winning sour.
Yeah, it was very good.
And you know, we've tried a lot of beers, and they remind me a lot of like the Holy Mountain and Propolis and breweries like that are trying to do some different stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was interesting. They had the whole list was pretty much different things you wouldn't necessarily expect, but it was very cool. It's always cool to go into a place, and it was pretty busy too, to go into a place and see so many options and so many different things going on.
Yeah, and it was nice. The location, like a lot of breweries, in an industrial location right next to a big marine propeller company.
Yeah.
And it's just like an industrial warehouse, and cool. You see all the barrels that they've got going on in their barrel aging program, and like I think it was the Creek took like 13 months just to put together. Very cool stuff, and you really liked their beers, didn't you?
Oh yeah, they were very good.
Then we decided to check out Maritime Pacific, and we stopped there for dinner. We had a beer each while we were there, and food was very good, and the beer was good too. We just tried some of their regular tap offerings that they had.
Yeah, and again, family friendly, so which is always important for us.
Yeah, Urban Family too.
Yep.
You would hope by the name, but I mean, it could.
Hey, there's lots of different definitions of family.
Exactly. Well, and it could be the Urban Family that started the brewery, but they are family friendly too. So cool places, and again, a couple new places that we haven't been to before. We've tried their beer, so we wanted to check them out.
Our second beer this evening is from Snipes Mountain Brewery, located in Sunnyside, open 7 days a week, and they are a restaurant and brewery, so families are welcome. We're drinking Terror in the Wood 5-grain 20 malt French provincial stout, brewed with French Saison yeast and molasses, honey, apples, pears, blueberries, and blackberries. Dark, fruity, lightly tart, and complex. 60% Terror 2012, aged in Gilbert Cellars, French oak, Syrah, and Cabernet Sauvignon barrels for over a year. Wow, you can smell that wine right away.
Yeah, definitely.
10% ABV and an untapped rating of 3.75. I'm interested to see what kind of flavors we can taste out of this. My tongue is not sophisticated enough to probably pick out all these different flavors that we have going on.
I love the label. It's very cool. An old stagecoach and castle kind of thing. And
oh, wow, yeah.
obviously, it's a French provincial thing. But Snipes Mountain, we talked to their head brewer last year when we went out to Yakima. But yeah, definitely can smell a lot of different things in there.
Wow, it's not as fruity as I thought it would be.
What are some of the fruits in there?
You know, I think I taste more molasses than anything else, but it's got molasses, honey, apples, pears, blueberries, and blackberries. Definitely dark.
Yeah. Yes, it's very dark. We didn't mention
very complex.
Very dark. Yeah, you can tiny bit of light, a sliver of light is coming through, but for the most part it is a dark beer.
Wow.
It's a terror of a beer.
It is a terror of a beer.
But yeah, there's all kinds of flavors. You can definitely, when we first poured it, you can definitely get a wine smell. But
wow, that's
all kinds of a lot of exactly, because molasses, because right away I thought I was tasting like raisins or something like that, and that's probably what it is.
Yeah,
it is more of a heavier beer,
definitely,
and a little more alcohol-y too. You get that too?
Yeah.
You can taste a little burning sensation there. So it's definitely got a different flavor to it. But again, we like to get samples of different stuff from different places.
Wine smell was like smack you in the face when you poured it, but it's not nearly as you don't.
No, I mean you do
a little bit, but not as much as I was anticipating based on the smell.
Yeah, I think it's more of the molasses or something like that.
Yeah, definitely molasses is that first flavor there.
You have pears, apples, or maybe honey in there too.
I want you to get me fresh beer. You serious? Now!
This week's Spotlight Indie Beer release is from Backwoods Brewing in Carson. This is their second beer in the Experimental Forest series, the Scalar Single Hop IPA, made exclusively with Vic's Secret hops, known for their pleasant notes of pine and pineapple, and are from Australia. 6.3% ABV, 50 IBUs, and an untapped rating of 3.73.
And that, my friends, brings us to the end of this episode of Northwest Brew Talk.
Make sure you tune in next week when we chat with Everybody's Brewing.
Thanks to our sponsor, Micro Homebrew. This show is written and produced by Michelle Rizzo and myself.
If you want to contact us, you can email us at nwbrewtalk@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at nwbrewtalk. Our theme music is from Gilbert Neal. You can check him out at gilbertneal.com.
Until next time, I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
Stay hopping, my friends.